Hello zusammen, welcome back to another video. I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm so happy to be here with you guys today, and I'm excited to talk about today's video. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Diana and I am a Canadian expat who has been living and working in Berlin, Germany for the last 5 years, you guys. I have completed 5 years this past month, which is absolutely mind-blowing. I don't know where time has gone. It's honestly gone by so fast. So it is February 2nd, 2017, and Josh and I are packing up our bags and we are heading to the airport in less than an hour because we're moving to Berlin, Germany. And I was doing some reflecting, and so I thought, you know what, it's about time I share with you guys some of my life lessons and some insight that I've gathered during my last 5 years of living here. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 life lessons, and you can definitely apply this to your own move abroad or whether you're going to move to Germany. I really hope that you find these tips helpful. I know I would have found them helpful when I was in the process of moving here. And so I'm excited to share some insight with you guys on that. But yeah, before I do jump into it, I do want to say I am super, super grateful for my time in Germany. I'm not going anywhere. I know it sounds like maybe I'm saying I'm leaving. I'm not. I'm going to be here for the foreseeable future. I always get questions asking, how long am I going to be here for? Am I going to stay here forever? Honestly, I don't know. Right now, Germany, right now, Berlin feels like the right place. It's felt like that for the last 5 years. So that's why we've stayed here. And right now, I'm just happy being here, and I'm happy. Just happy here. And I don't want to make it cheesy, but I just wanted to say I am very grateful for everything that's come along with moving here, and it's been a really awesome experience, not without any, challenges or learnings. That's super natural when it comes to moving abroad. But overall, it's been a really positive and really great experience, and I am still very much happy here. So yeah, let's jump into it. I don't want to make this too cheesy or anything, but the first lesson that I have learned is that making good friends takes time. And I know I've talked about this before, how with especially making friends with Germans, they're a little bit more reserved. It takes a lot of time for them to warm up to you. And especially when you are a foreigner moving to a new country, typically everyone has their own groups of friends already. And so it is quite difficult for you to make your way into that group of friends and build strong friendships here. What I have found is it is quite easy to find people to do stuff with, honestly. Like, you can meet people through work or through mutual friends, and you can go out with people to a bar or to a club and meet up once in a while, but you really do have to make the effort here to make those meaningful friendships and make those deep connections. I find that a lot of people here have a lot of friends, but it's just people that they go to the bar with or they just hang out with once in a while, but you don't really get past that surface level, which is something I personally crave when it comes to friendships. If I'm going to invest my time into people, I want to, get down to the nitty gritty, get to know you on a deeper level. But I found that people here have a lot more surface level friendships. And especially if you want to make friends with Germans, on the other hand, then you have to work really hard to get below the surface and get into those deeper connections. So yeah, that's just my personal experience, but don't let this deter you or make you nervous. It may just be that I have a different personality type and I expect different things out of friendships, but that's just something I've observed during my time being here. The second lesson I want to share, this is so important, and it is to try to get yourself a longer term flat when you first get here. For those of you who have been watching me for a while, maybe you know this, that in the first 2 years of living in Berlin, my boyfriend and I had to move 6 times, so to 6 different flats in different parts of the city before we found our long-term flat, which is what we're currently in. And that's because we were not able to find a longer term flat, and we were in a bit of a rush to move because we only got short-term leases. So we would get leases for 3 months, 6 months, and then a year. But I really wish that during, the first few moves, maybe the first 2 moves, we would have made an effort to find a longer term flat, because with every single move that we made, the rent got higher and the city became more crowded and more competitive. And so we kind of screwed ourselves over in the first few years of living here because we weren't really thinking long term. We were just thinking, okay, let's move from place to place. Let's figure out what area we want to be in. And let's just find a place that's furnished. That will make things so much easier. And it's just not fun to move around so much with your suitcases and all of these things. I am really happy that we had a very carefree attitude when it came to it. I don't know how we did that, honestly. Now looking back, it was kind of crazy that we did move 6 times in such a short amount of time. So yeah, if you are moving here, try to find something for the long term. Maybe not right away. It's okay if you want to get more familiar with the areas before you do lock something down, but at least if you plan to live here for the next few years, just lock down a good flat before it gets super, super competitive, which I do think it will, because Berlin especially and a lot of the other major cities in Germany are very highly desired places for people to move to, especially expats, and a lot of companies set up headquarters here as well. So I just see all of this skyrocketing and the renting crisis to become way more intense. So that is a huge life lesson. Number 3 is German is hard. And this, you guys, I don't say it lightly. German is a really tough language, at least for me, but I know a lot of other expats do struggle with German. And especially if you live in a city like Berlin, it becomes that much harder. And for maybe some of you who speak German, you're thinking, oh, you're just being lazy, you don't want to learn German. And yes, I admit I was definitely lazy when it came to speaking the language. When I first moved here, I just wanted to explore the city. I wanted to go out. I didn't necessarily want to take lessons right away. And I didn't really have the necessity to do that because my job and my company operated in English. So it was pretty easy going. As time has gone on, I have started to take German more seriously, but it is a very hard language to learn. And it's also not the easiest language to learn, especially in a city like Berlin, because so many people default to English here. Like I said, companies operate in English. And also, if you go out to a cafe, to a restaurant, everyone speaks English. So you don't really have the necessity to speak German, which is definitely a shame. But yeah, it is quite difficult to pick up the language. Now, if you are moving to a smaller town or maybe a more traditional city in Bavaria, let's say, then I think you will pick up the language a lot easier. But I do want to be honest that it is going to be quite difficult to learn German, especially in Berlin, because it's just not really necessary, if I'm being quite honest. And I know a lot of Germans are going to leave hate on this probably for me saying this, but it's the truth. I've spoken to a lot of expats and foreigners here, and they also say that they don't feel the need to want to learn German because they work in English, they don't see how it's going to advance their career, and it may sound like a terrible thing to say, but it's the honest truth of being a foreigner and an expat, especially in Berlin. Now again, this may not apply to other major cities in Germany, and I would highly recommend learning the language if you can. I think it's going to enhance your experience, but it's not going to be without its challenges. It's going to take you so much time to learn the language. You really have to dedicate yourself to it, and you really have to force yourself to speak it with other people, even when other people want to default to English. So I am still on my journey of learning German. Yeah, it hasn't been the smoothest thing. Not at all. But I'm sure I'm to blame because I'm also very shy when it comes to speaking it. But yeah, you guys, it's just not the easiest language to pick up, especially here. The fourth life lesson that I've learned is everything is about perspective. Your experience of living abroad, living in Germany, is all based on your own life experiences, how you grew up, and how you view the world. I remember when I first started making videos, I would get so excited by things like the architecture in the city, or the nature around me, and all these little things that I didn't have back home in Canada. And then people would comment, oh, but like, you don't know anything about architecture. Like, you should go to Austria, you should go to Italy. The architecture is so much nicer there. And I would always be like, why can't people see the beauty here? To me, it's so beautiful and it's so exciting, but it's because I grew up in a totally different place, and what I had is totally different than what people have experienced in their lifetime. So this is why I always say, have your own experiences. You can take my lessons and my learnings, but really push yourself to have your own experiences, because it's going to be completely different. And what I may see as super cool and super interesting and valuable may not be what you value and what excites you. So unless you actually take the steps of moving here, let's say, or of pushing yourself to move to another country, you're not really gonna know based on someone's video or somebody's perspective. So yeah, for the first few years, I didn't really get it. I thought people were just being haters towards Berlin or Germany, but I've really learned just from talking to other people that it's all based on how you grew up and what you value and what excites you. So something that may be super important to me, for instance, like vacation time, that was such a big selling point moving from Canada to Germany, where I only had 2 weeks vacation, and here, I had 5 weeks to start off. For someone coming from France, that's like standard, everyone has 5 weeks or more vacation there. So to them, having vacation time wasn't such a big selling point. They may have valued other aspects of moving here. So yeah, that's been definitely a big life lesson, and it's taught me to be more curious about how people see things and have really interesting conversations with other people from other nationalities. And that's one of actually my favorite parts of living in Berlin, because I do get to meet people from all over the world and hear their own experiences of why they moved here and what they love about the city. I'm always asking that if I meet somebody. I'm like, why'd you move here? What do you like about it? Like, I'm very, very curious about it, because I want to know your point of view and I want to understand you more. So yeah, guys, stay curious, explore things for yourself, and take risks, because you will never know what you can attain from your moving abroad experience unless you do it. And then the fifth life lesson that I have learned is that moving abroad is not the fix for everything. It's not going to magically make your life better, make your problems go away, turn you into a new person. I know a lot of people move abroad to try to escape from their previous life or escape their previous problems, but from what I have experienced and what I've had a chance to speak to with other people, those problems tend to trickle back into your life later on, whether or not you've moved abroad. So it's not going to be the end all be all. It's not going to fix everything. It may be that the first few years that you live here, things are still very exciting and things are still sparkly and magical. But if you are really trying to escape something, it's gonna come back. And I just want to keep that honest, because I know a lot of people often see moving abroad as a fresh start. And of course, in many ways it is. It's a way for you to set up a new life in a new country, to experience new things, to get more work experience, all really amazing things that I'm so grateful for, and so many of you have told me you're grateful for as well. But ultimately, if you still have things that you need to work on internally, or if you have, family problems that you were trying to escape or things like that, that's gonna make its way back into your life eventually, and you will still need to work on it in your new country. So yeah, I don't mean to sound like a downer, but it's just the reality, and I hope that you guys can appreciate this more honest video, because I never want to sugarcoat things. And that's not to say that, again, I'm not grateful for my experience here. I'm so grateful. I really do love my life here, and I'm excited to keep living here. But just in case you are in the process of moving here, these are some of the things that you can expect. And I hope that you take something from these life lessons that I've had. And I hope that you're excited to make your own life lessons and learn about yourself too through your own move. But that's going to be all for today's video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it valuable. I did want to mention that if you want to keep up with more of my day-to-day life, I post a ton on Instagram every single day. I'm constantly making videos there. I'm also on TikTok as well. I also offer the coaching calls. So if you guys want to talk about your own situation of moving here and you want to talk about your plans, I'd be so happy to chat with you about that too. So I'm going to leave links down below where you can find me outside of my weekly videos on YouTube. But I hope that you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all in my next one. Tschüss!